Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Robert Rambles here and thank you for joining me today. If you're just joining us now, we as a mage have successfully passed a process called the Harrowing, in which we were teleported into the Fade, which to me seems like the Dragon Age universe is hell, and we had to face several demons. Some of them we faced physically, others we faced mentally. And we came back alive. So I guess for mages in this world, they can either be basically tranquilized where they're cut off from their source of magic, or they can pass the harrowing. And unless you do one of those two, the Templar here, where all mages are kept for, it seems like their entire life, the Templar here will kill you if you get possessed by a demon in the Fade, or I guess if you refuse to go along with either the harrowing or the tranquilization. A vanity. Ooh, we can just take stuff. Ready to be incorporated into potions. Okay. Let's see. See what Irving wants from you. So this is a little recap of what happened last time. Joanne, another circle apprentice, roused you from your slumber the morning after your harrowing. After fretting about his own delayed harrowing, Joan informed you that Irving would like to speak with you. Do not keep the first enchanter waiting. Now, we wouldn't want to keep him waiting too long, and I don't think we have anything else to do here except to make sure that we loot everything we can. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with any of these items right now, but I'm assuming eventually they'll have a purpose in crafting, or if not crafting, then maybe just to sell.
Very well.
Do we have a map of this place? Oh, we definitely do. So we're probably headed to the second floor, but can we check the basement? And I'm assuming, like, should we check all of these rooms? This is the same space, right? Yes. Okay. We're going to be pretty thorough. This probably is not going to be 100% playthrough. I'm sure that I'm going to miss things here and there. You guys are welcome to let me know if I do miss anything big.
Why would anyone do something so stupid? That's a death sentence. Because blood magic is powerful? You can bend others to your will and force demons into your service. That's what I hear anyway.
Blood magic. It seems dangerous. Restores mana, lyrium potion. Okay. That's something we might want to put out on our hotbar. It's becoming pretty clear that we're going to want to be looking everywhere because there's loot. Glad they have separated toilets. Let's take a look. Oh, good. I was kind of wondering if there would be a way for us to not show our helm. You know how some games have an option to not show the helm? Let me know, you guys, if there is a way. I don't usually like to show a helmet unless it's actually like really cool looking. Like, this is okay. But I kind of like seeing the character that I made and not have to look at a helmet the entire time. Especially in cutscenes. So we'll see how that goes. And this goes down into the basement. Let's come back to that.
I shall do it.
You must control the fire with your will. Keep the flames steady. We don't want it sputtering and leaping about. That's what causes most of the injuries.
Injuries? But
Jeez.
Steady. It reacts to your emotions. If
Get
you
it together,
panic,
buddy.
It will... No. Breathe. You know, in my experience, flint and tinder works just as well. Maybe we should start with that.
That might be a good idea. This guy almost just lit himself on fire and like died in front of us. If not for this other person, he might have done just that.
Congratulations on your harrowing. Congratulations on your harrowing.
I really should be concentrating on the flame.
Yeah, I'd say.
I perfected my ice spells yesterday.
Good for you.
Says about magic.
Magic must serve man, and not rule over him.
Very good. And what do you think that means? Can anyone tell me?
Only boys can do magic.
Hey!
Nope.
No, that's not what it means.
It means that magic should be used to help people, but we can't use our magic to force people to do what we want.
That's right. We should not abuse the gift the Maker has given us.
Alright, that's a good lesson.
Concentrate. Hold the shield.
Whoa!
If I had put all my power behind that spell, you would have been obliterated. I am not your enemy. Fear is your enemy. It is a weakness that can be exploited.
It's really cool to see them doing all the magical training here.
No? Then stand firm and know you can resist whatever I throw at you.
This guy's not doing well. Seemed better that time.
I'm terrible at spells. You're lucky you're so talented. It's nice to see you still alive.
Yeah, thanks. I feel the same way.
Congratulations on your test. I can't wait for my harrowing.
Yeah, I guess if we've lived here our whole lives, we would know all these people pretty closely, and they would know us. Alright, so that's gonna take us up. Let's go over to the basement.
Very well.
Oh, it's locked. Of course it's locked. What are the odds that we get sent down here for some other task? Probably pretty good. So I guess that means we're going to the second floor. I feel like we've gotten everything.
I shall do it.
Same thing up here. I think we should probably look around for a little
Good
bit.
day.
That's not likely. I think someone's here to speak to you, Senior Torren.
Yeah, we'll be back. So they're over here for the quest. I love all the detail that's put into all these little areas. It really does look like a place where people would study and learn magic. 4 schools of magic. Those who oppose thee shall know the wrath of heaven. Field and forest shall burn, the sea shall rise and devour them. The wind shall tear their nations from the face of the earth, lightning shall rain down from the sky. They shall cry out to their false gods and find silence. Andraste, 719. So Andraste is like the Jesus of the Dragon Age world, as I'm understanding it, maybe? Or at least some kind of divine person or entity from the past. Sometimes called the School of Power, the primal school is the second of the schools of energy, balanced by spirit, and concerns the most visible and tangible forces of nature itself. This is the magic of war, fire, ice, and lightning, devastation. This is what the vast majority imagines when they hear the word magic. That's very true. A section of books seems to be missing. You just encountered a locked object. Oh, is that... No, that's not telling us. That must have been from the door, right? Here's another codex entry. Probably another school of magic, I'm assuming. Okay, Flash is the one that we haven't read yet. This is creation. Opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. My will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. The school of creation, sometimes called the school of nature, is the second of the schools of matter, the balancing force and complement of entropy. Creation magic manipulates natural forces, transforming what exists and bringing new things into being. Creation requires considerable finesse, more than any other school, and is therefore rarely mastered. Those mages who have made a serious study of creation are the highest in demand, useful in times of peace as well as war. Hierarchy of the Circle. It's a long one. It is no simple matter safeguarding ordinary men from mages and mages from themselves. Each circle tower must have some measure of self-government, for it is ever the Maker's will that men be given the power to take responsibility for our own actions, to sin and fail, as well as to achieve the highest grace and glory on our own strength. You who will be tasked with the protection of the circle must be aware of its workings. The first enchanter is the heart of any tower. He will determine the course his circle will take. He will choose which apprentices may be tested and made full mages, and you will work most closely with him. Assisting the first enchanter will be the senior enchanters, a small council of the most trusted and experienced magi in the tower. From this group, the next first enchanter is always chosen. Beneath the council are the enchanters. These are the teachers and mentors of the tower, and you must get to know them in order to keep your finger on the pulse of the circle, for the enchanters will always know what is happening among the children. All those who have passed their harrowing but have not taken apprentices are mages. This is where most trouble in the circle lies, in the idleness and inexperience of youth. The untested apprentices are the most numerous denizens of any tower, but they more often pose threats to themselves due to their lack of training than to anyone else. Knight Commander Serene of the Chantry Templars. So this is like a guide to be one of the dudes who guards us and kills us when we get possessed by a demon, one of the Templars. I feel like I've missed some lore though. There were other bookcases that I didn't hover over. So I'm wondering if we missed out on getting the other schools. Or, oh look, there's some over here. Okay, these ones are empty. History of the Circle. It is a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do something. Unfortunately, the Chantry of the Divine Age has some trouble with obvious truths. Although it did not outlaw magic, quite the contrary, as the Chantry relied upon magic to kindle the eternal flame which burns in every brazier in every Chantry, it relegated mages to lighting candles and lamps. Perhaps occasional dusting of rafters and eaves. I will give my readers a moment to contemplate how well such a role satisfied the mages of the time. It surprised absolutely no one when the mages of Val Royeaux in protest snuffed the sacred flames of the cathedral and barricaded themselves inside the choir loft. No one, that is, but divine Ambrosia II, who was outraged and attempted to order an exalted march upon her own cathedral. Even her most devout Templars discouraged that idea. For 21 days, the fires remained unlit while negotiations were conducted. legend tells us, by shouting back and forth from the loft. The mages went cheerily into exile in a remote fortress outside the capital, where they would be kept under the watchful eye of the Templars and a council of their own elder magi. Outside of normal society and outside of the chantry, the mages would form their own closed society, the Circle, separated for the first time in human history. From Of Fire's Circles and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. It's probably like a lot of reading, but a couple of you guys let me know that reading these in the order we get them is going to be most beneficial to enjoying the lore and the story, because they're always in context. Like, if we didn't read any of this stuff, we would not have a clear idea of the place that we're at and what exactly is going on now here. But now we have a whole history, kind of.
As you say.
Here's entropy. To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. The second of the two schools of matter, entropy is the opposing force of creation. For this reason, it is often called the school of negation. Nothing lives without death. Time inevitably brings an end to all things in the material world, and yet, in this ending is the seed of a beginning. A river may flood its banks, causing havoc, but bring new life to its floodplain. The fire that burns a forest ushers in new growth. And so it is with entropic magic, that we manipulate the forces of erosion, decay, and destruction to create anew.
Hello?
Oh.
Were you looking for something?
Oh, okay, so these are not the main guys we were looking for. Let's investigate.
I'm Njal, a mage just like you. I've seen you around, haven't I? I must have.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh,
you
the
probably have.
Fraternities. Groups of mages with a common agenda. I think we should all be isolationists. Stay in some remote mountain town, far away from the mundanes who hate us.
It's a pretty narrow worldview, though. Yeah, they'll never learn that we could be helpful to them, that they don't have to fear all of us.
They'll never learn that. They don't want to.
Maybe some of them
I'd
don't.
go hide alone in the wilds if I could. But you know they just brand me an apostate and hunt me down. There is no leaving the circle. It's till death do us part. Romantic, isn't it?
Right.
If you leave the circle, you become an apostate. And the punishment for leaving is death. Pretty grim, huh?
Yeah, kind of, but at least we have a place we can be safe.
The grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? It's better to never be brought to the circle than to try to escape it. I wouldn't risk it, though. I've heard of hedge witches who've managed to survive on their own, eluding the circle for a lifetime.
What's this guy up to? He looks
If the
suspicious.
Templars discover them, well, you know what happens. Then there are stories about the Dalish elf clans having great magic. But who knows what's truth and what's fiction when it comes to the Dalish? Alright, have a good day.
Hello. Congratulations on your harrowing last night. Good work.
So what were you guys talking about earlier again?
Ah, the Fraternities of the Enchanters.
Yeah.
You probably haven't heard of them. It's best not to get tangled up in circle politics. More trouble than it's worth, really.
Okay. Well, tell us about them anyway. We don't have to get wrapped up in them, but we could hear a little bit about them.
They're found in all circles throughout Thedas. Groups of enchanters who hold similar viewpoints, who band together to make their voices heard. The most influential fraternity are the Equitarians. They are moderates and believe in a code of conduct that all mages should adhere to. Then there are the Chantry apologists, the Loyalists. The Chantry says something and they follow it to the letter. The Lucrosians just want to make money. And the isolationists would like us all to be hermits and live on an island.
Like this other dude here.
And of course there are the Libertarians. They want more power for the circle, more autonomy.
And where do you fall in that?
Well, if I had to, I'd say I was an Equitarian, but I ducked out of the fray a long time ago. Most of the senior enchanters are Equitarians. Irving, Wynne, Sweeney. Ulrid's a Libertarian, and a loud one at that. Mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. But what can you do? Fair enough. Good day to you.
Fraternity of Enchanters. Another aspect of circle life is the fraternity. When a mage becomes an enchanter, he may ally himself with a fraternity. These are cliques that cross circle boundaries, mages of common interest and goals who band together to ensure that their voice is heard within the College of Magi in Cumberland. The largest fraternities are the Loyalists, who advocate loyalty and obedience to the Chantry, the Equitarians, who advocate temperance and follow a distinct code of conduct which they believe all mages should hold themselves to, the Libertarians, a growing fraternity, publicly maintaining greater power for the circles but secretly advocating a complete split from the Chantry, a dangerous opinion naturally. The Isolationists, a small group that advocates withdrawing to remote territories in order to avoid conflicts with general populace. The Lucrosians, who maintain that the circle must do what is profitable first and foremost. They prioritize the accumulation of wealth, with the gaining of political influence a close second. So far, an alliance between the Loyalists and Equitarians have prevented the Libertarians from gaining much headway, but there are signs that the Equitarians may throw their support in with the Libertarians. If that happens, many mages predict it will come to civil war among the circles. That's a little bit of foreboding there in the extra bonus lore text. Alright, library, guest quarters, maid's dorm, laboratory, and Irving's study is all the way on the other side. So we should be able to at least check all these rooms.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't hear you come in.
What are you doing? Thought he was like
I'm
scrubbing
sorry,
the floor.
I'm terribly busy right now. I have to prepare the room before the Grey Warden is done at his meeting with Irving.
Oh, we're heading to that meeting. Wait. What is a Grey Warden exactly?
They are an order of brave and noble warriors, sworn to give their lives to defeat the Darkspawn. You know, I almost became a Grey Warden once.
Yeah, but how could you do that and you're also a mage?
There were several of us chosen, though the Grey Wardens only wanted one recruit. They only ever have one mage, you see. I think they thought I was the best candidate, but I was young and foolish, and I said I wasn't interested. They picked someone else instead, and that was that. I've regretted it ever since.
Yeah, that's life,
However,
man.
I should get back to my work.
Just take opportunities when you can, because you never know how many opportunities you're going to get in life. Otherwise, you end up scrubbing a slate tile floor with your bare hands and no cleaning tools. Someone comes along and steals all the stuff out of your armoire. We already have this, but we'll take it so we can sell it. It's not doing this guy any good. Private documents, a list of household accounts and expenditures over time, useful for merchants negotiating contracts and wages. Okay.
Ah, there you are. You are to be moved out of the apprentices' dormitory, and these are to be your new quarters.
Oh.
The Tranquil will move your belongings this afternoon.
So this is my stuff.
Go on, make yourself comfortable.
All right. Great. Looks pretty decent. I mean, we don't have a door necessarily, but it's like pretty cozy still. Of course, as like the newest person to move in here, we do get the dorm room right by the entryway to this. Like, we couldn't get a bed like back here somewhere maybe? Like this guy seems to have a little bit of a better space than us.
Everyone's so happy for you.
Well, that's good.
I never thought you'd survive the harrowing. You got lucky, didn't you?
Well, you could say that.
Greetings. I'm glad your harrowing went well.
And who are you? Do we know you?
I am Cullen. I was to strike the killing blow if you had become an abomination.
Oh, awkward.
I am glad you didn't.
Me too. But, you know, I mean, if you had to do it, you'd have to do it. But how would you know?
Honestly, I've never seen an abomination.
Oh, good.
Or been called on to slay one.
So you could have made a mistake, is what you're saying.
Gregor would have guided me. Something must happen. But what if it's not obvious? Could abominations be walking among us right now?
I mean, I'm sure there aren't any here.
This is still new to me.
Right?
Maybe one day I'll be as dedicated and driven as Knight Commander Gregor.
I don't want to freak the guy out. He seems like a very dedicated man, yeah.
You must be busy. Perhaps we can talk another time.
Alright, Cullen. We'll talk another time. You seem like you might be a character. We should probably like put that on when we're picking up stuff that might be useful. Where would we put this? Oh, right there.
Did you see that Grey Warden? I hear he's trying to recruit a mage for his order.
I wonder who that's going to be. Could have swore we got like a little... Oh, there we go. Yeah, you have to get
As
it
you say.
right in the perfect spot. The Cardinal Rules of Magic. Seems interesting. You must not be under the misimpression that magic is all-powerful. There are limits, and not even the greatest mages may overcome them. No one, for instance, has found any means of traveling, either over great distances or small ones, beyond putting one foot in front of the other. The immutable nature of the physical world prevents this. So no, you may not simply pop over to Mirathos to borrow a cup of sugar, nor may you magic the essay you forgot in the apprentice dormitory to your desk. You will simply have to be prepared. Similarly, even when you send your mind into the Fade, your body remains behind. Only once has this barrier been overcome, and reputedly the spell required 2/3 of the lyrium in the Sventer Imperium, as well as the lifeblood of several hundred slaves. The results were utterly disastrous. Finally, life is finite. A truly great healer may bring someone back from the very precipice of death, when breath and heartbeat have ceased, but the spirit still clings to life. But once the spirit has fled the body, it cannot be recalled. That is no failing of your skills or power, it is simple reality. One of the things I love about fantasy universes is just like learning the magic system and how magic operates in the universe. Like they said that we can't, basically there are no teleportation spells in this universe, and then I think about a universe like the Witcher universe where like teleportation is like a big part of the magic system. And I find those differences like very interesting to like learn all the different rules that the system operates by.
I hear Irving's very proud of you.
It's one of the big reasons why I picked a mage for this playthrough. I thought we would get that perspective and insight into how magic works that we might not get otherwise. A frost rock. Crushing a frost rock gives the user a small bonus to cold resistance for a short time. Chewing elf root restores a small amount of health. I hear like whispers. People are whispering here. It's awesome.
Oh, it's you. I hear Irving's looking for you.
Yeah, we've heard about that.
Ah, this is infuriating. Another batch destroyed. Say, have you seen Owain? Is he in the stockroom?
Why would he be anywhere
Well,
else?
I don't know. He might have gone to the privy. The Tranquils still function like us. Mostly. I hope he still has some cinnabar lying around. When I asked last week, he said he was running out.
Alright, well why don't you go find him yourself, buddy? Don't be lazy now. Yeah, Irving's all the way down at the very end of the hall.
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Blessed are the penitents who seek his return. Blessed is the prophetess, purified by flame.
May the chant reach the Maker's ears and tell him of our contrition, so let it be. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Yeah, we're just being creepy.
I recite the Maker's blessings every day. It brings me peace in troubled times.
Is everything okay? Are you in trouble?
No, not really. It's just... I don't want to bore you with this.
It's alright, we asked.
It gives me hope that one day the Maker will hear us. That maybe I'll be forgiven and my curse will be lifted.
What curse exactly?
Magic. What else?
Oh, yeah. So you don't like having magic?
Magic causes such misery. It's dangerous and vile and wicked. The Chantry must protect the world from us.
So she's a loyalist, right?
With something
She would be a loyalist?
Must be a punishment. I wish I could be rid of it.
You could use your magic, though, to help people, right? I mean, wouldn't that make you feel better?
That doesn't take magic. If I could, I would dedicate my life to the Chantry. But they would never take me in.
That's a good point. They probably wouldn't.
This is just something I will have to suffer through. I should go. My mentor only allows a few minutes each day for religious contemplation.
Like, if you didn't explore this place thoroughly, you could miss all these little interactions we're having. Chant of the Light. No matter their power, their triumphs, the mage lords of Teventir were men and doomed to die. Then a voice whispered within their hearts, "Shall you surrender your power to time like the beast of the fields? You are the lords of the earth. Go forth to claim the empty throne of heaven and be gods." In secret they worked, magic upon magic. All their power and all their vanity they turned against the veil, until at last it gave way. Above them a river of light. Before them the throne of heaven waiting. Beneath their feet the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. But when they took a single step toward the empty throne, a great voice cried out, shaking the very foundations of heaven and earth. "And so is the golden city blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven, and doom upon all the world." Violently were they cast down, for no mortal may walk bodily in the realm of dreams, bearing the mark of their crime, bodies so maimed and distorted that none should see them and know them for men. Deep into the earth they fled, away from the light. In the darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumat. Their taint twisted even the false god, and the whisperer awoke at last in pain and horror and led them to wreak havoc upon all the nations of the world, the First Blight. So this is a little bit we heard about before about the Black City, how it was a golden city until men went there and they basically ruined it. They weren't ever supposed to be there physically, and there had been a voice whispering to them apparently to goad them on into that, and it was this dragon who then they also corrupted the dragon that like set them forth on a path of corruption. If I read that right, it's ironic, don't you think?
Many have already gone to Ostagar. Wynne, Aldred, and most of the senior mages. We've committed enough of our own to this war effort.
Your own? Since when have you felt such kinship with the mages, Gregor? Or are you afraid to let the mages out from under Chantry supervision, where they can actually use their Maker-given powers?
How dare you suggest?
Gentlemen, please. Irving, someone is here to see you.
You sent for us?
Ah, if it isn't our new brother in the circle. Come, child.
This is...
Yes, this is he.
Well, Irving, you're obviously busy. We will discuss this later.
Of course. Well, then, where was I? Oh, yes, this is Duncan of the Grey Wardens.
Good to meet you.
You've heard about the war brewing to the south, I expect. Duncan is recruiting mages to join the king's army at Ostagar.
Who are we fighting in Ostagar?
The Darkspawn threat grows in the south. We need all the help we can get.
And remind me, what are the Darkspawn?
They are twisted monsters that dwell underground where the sun's light cannot touch them. They have formed into a horde in the Korkari Wilds and threaten to invade north into the valley. I fear if we don't drive them back, we may see another blight.
Right, like the first one we just read about.
You worry the poor lad with talk of blights and darkspawn. This is a happy day for him.
We live in troubled times, my friend.
We should seize moments of levity, especially in troubled times. The harrowing is behind you. Your phylactery was sent to Denerim. You are officially a mage within the circle of magi.
I want to know a little bit about my phylactery, though.
You may not remember, but blood was taken from you when you first came to us. This blood is preserved within a phylactery.
So they can be hunted if they turn apostate.
We have few choices. The gift of magic is looked upon with suspicion and fear. We must prove we are strong enough to handle our power responsibly. You have done this. I present you with your robes, your staff, and a ring bearing the Circle's insignia. Wear them proudly, for you have earned them.
And so what happens now?
Patience, child. You have been through an ordeal. Let us not rush things. It goes without saying that you shall not discuss the harrowing with those who have not undergone the rite. Now then, take your time to rest, or study in the library. The day is yours.
But we're not allowed to leave, are we?
Not yet. Remember, the tower's walls protect us as much as they protect others from us.
I will return to my quarters.
Would you be so kind as to escort Duncan back to his room, child?
Yeah, sure. I feel like that's probably a good idea.
The guest quarters
We'll be
are
polite.
on the east side of this floor, close to the library. Now, if you'll both excuse me, I have matters to discuss with Gregor.
Our new codex entry, Duncan. Characters? Okay. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings, the Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. He might say this was a convenience in his case, however. His mother was from the Anderfells, his father from Teventir. His childhood was spent in the Free Marches and Orleus. His people were everywhere and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits.
Move along now.
Alright, moving along, moving along. Oh, I did want to turn the audio up a little bit for the dialogue, but it's basically maxed out. So, leave it there. Maybe turn the music up a little bit. Let me know, you guys, if the sound settings do need to be adjusted at all.
Thank you for escorting me.
Then we can learn a little bit about the Grey Wardens here, which would be under Culture and History. The First Blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god had risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishaupt Fortress, in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Empyrean, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lifetimes except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishaupt, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were Grey Wardens now. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992, the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all the armies of northern Thedas were lost in the fighting, but Dumat fell, and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazikel, Toth, Andorral, Zekael, Lusakin, and Earthmeal. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, and that their war continues until the last of the dragon gods is gone. Yikes.
Is there something else I can do for you?
I don't know. What else can you tell us about... Let's ask him things he might know about the Grey Wardens and Darkspawn.
Certainly. I am intimately familiar with these subjects after all.
Have there been many Darkspawn attacks recently?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde.
So one of the gods. That sounds really bad.
Darkspawn do attack the surface in ragtag bands, but archdemons are capable of rallying the Darkspawn, turning them into an unstoppable force. A horde of Darkspawn, a veritable army. It is dire news indeed. I fear this is what we will have to face.
And so the king is gathering an army to defeat them, right?
Yes. Perhaps it will be enough if we play our cards right.
We know they weren't all destroyed in the last Blight. We've read about that.
They usually move around in small groups, but there are always more of them, lurking underground, biding their time.
And we heard 2 guys arguing about the war. What's that about?
It is not my place to comment.
Oh, you really won't have any comments on it at all. Let's see. What else can you tell us about the attacks?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde. We can't seem to eradicate them completely. Somehow they always come back. Of course. Don't let me keep you.
Guess that's all the info we'll get out of him for now. We got a new entry about the Darkspawn, which we kind of already know how they originated, was the people who, were forced out of the Golden City when it became the Black City and they were banished underground. Those who had sought to claim heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men but monsters. Sin was the midwife that ushered the Darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds, for they were not alone. No one knows where the Darkspawn come from, a dark mockery of men. In the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as a plague of locust will. In raids they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads, but most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems Darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly, we know that evil has no trouble perpetuating itself. The last Blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again at the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orleus and east into the Free Marches. The plague spread as far as Ferelden, but the withering and twisting of the land stopped well beyond our borders. Here, Darkspawn have never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Anderfells, they say Darkspawn haunt the hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villages, a constant threat. So we're in a place where, we haven't had to live with the reality of Darkspawn the way that other places have had to. We have a quest right outside here. I think we're going to take a little bit of a break here, guys, and then we will take this quest, and eventually I'm sure we'll be getting out of the tower and moving on to some more action-oriented stuff. This was a little bit of a slow episode, but I really think it's important to get all the lore that we can. Especially for me, I'm learning about this world for the first time, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Really good writing, really good lore building and world building. I'm really enjoying it, so let me know what you guys think. As always, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being here. It does mean the world to me, so take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and we'll see you back real soon. Bye now.